Okay. Yes, I was muted. Okay. Thank you, Night Spearhead. I had to reboot my computer, and it seems like every time that happens, the OBS Studio just kind of forgets what my defaults are. So I apologize for that. All right, so it is Friday, April 11th at 5:12 p.m. And here we are in Fallout 76. Now, quick announcements. I was late today because I was actually in the process of, yeah, classic OPS. I was in the process of trying to finish the video on Covenant, and I'm really probably about, I would speculate 15 minutes away from finishing that. And by 15 minutes, I mean like literally the sound has been recorded and edited. It's put together. The video clips are all recorded. I'm putting them together. I just need to add the last 45 seconds where I'm giving acknowledgements and stuff like that. So once that stuff's done, and I can launch that thing. Of course, it has to process first. It's a 27-minute long video, and it's definitely some of the most work I've put into a site that small in a while now. I actually beat the game twice, specifically just for the purposes of making that video. Once as the Minutemen, and once for the Institute, to see what the differences would be for the actual quest. And definitely got some interesting results from that. Nothing I was expecting to get from defeating the Institute. It's definitely very strange. So I'll check real quick to see if there's been any changes. There weren't that many people that voted in the poll for the Fallout 76 videos, so I think I know what it is, but I'm going to check and make sure that there's been no changes. Okay, yep, still the same votes there. You'll excuse me for 1 second.
This unit will not be accepting requests to sit on Santa's lap. We apologize.
Sorry about
for
that.
the
Wife is heading to
inconvenience.
work and she needed something, so I had to grab that. Yes, no, it's absolutely one of the most detailed sites that they put together. There is you'll see it in the video. I have some minor disappointment in terms of in the way that one of the outcomes was treated there, but otherwise very well put together. Okay, so again, I was in the middle of checking the polls. I got one of them, and let me check the other one real quick just to be sure. Okay, yeah, total of 5 votes. 2 votes on Patreon and 1 vote on Discord for Atlantic City, and then 1 vote on both Patreon and 1 vote on the Discord for Sam Blackwell remaking that video. So, as I said in both cases, there are the video is going to be covering Atlantic City. And because I'm covering Atlantic City, I'm going to be doing surveil videos on the parts of Atlantic City before I do the factions of Atlantic City. And that's going to be an enormous amount of work. I didn't even really think about it when I was putting it down there, because I was like, I did specifically say, if I'm doing this, I'm going to be doing only 1 video if I'm doing Atlantic City. But at the end of the day, I forgot that there are actually 3 sections to Atlantic City. We can go take a look at it real quick. Go to the map. Yeah, I want to redo the Blackwell video at some point, because it's one of my earliest ones that I still that I have not yet remade, and I actually do the raw lore collection in the video as well, so just to show you where I got the stuff. But it's not really something that people are looking for in a lore video. So, oh, has this character not been there before? Okay, I guess I'll have to change characters. Oh, that's right. I had to basically bring this character into a new world to do some more recording. So let's see, is that filming easy too? Let's see about actually, I can just change characters. I don't remember which one that was though, so let's go with that one, and I may be repeating work here. We'll see. But yeah, so Atlantic City has its 3 factions. I'm looking forward to covering those guys. One of them is basically the mob, one of them is a bunch of entertainers, and then the other ones are effectively like the city staff. And I'm gonna have to review the lore because it's been at least a year, I think, at this point since I really covered that stuff. But if I remember correctly, basically the city staff isn't even actually made up, like isn't led at the very least of members that were there before the before the war ended the world. Effectively, they were. Yeah, this might be exactly where I was. Let's try again real quick, and if yeah, okay. Then I have to go to the other character. This is Abanareth, I guess. That's a name I created for a WoW character, like, God, 15 years ago at this point. Anyway, Arxuric, on the other hand, is a name I created for a Star Wars, The Old Republic character. All right. Yeah. Okay, and so, yeah, it's basically people came in from the countryside to help to restore the city to an extent. Of course, Atlantic City has a lot of issues, as everywhere does, obviously, post-war. Let's see if this character has the ability to go there in this world. But yeah, this is going to be a relatively short stream because my main goal here is to try to get out, like basically finish this, tell you all exactly what's coming up, talk with you all a little bit, but then get back to finishing that video so I can release it this evening. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Apparently this world is just the issue. Let's see. Play a different world then. Yeah, basically, if you're not aware of what you can do with Fallout Worlds, you can set the world parameters to a bunch of different things. And in this case, I just make it a lot easier for me to film by simply like stabilizing the weather, generally speaking. Along with that, making it so that I can do a lot of damage and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Patty Flanagan. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Hopefully this character will be the one that will get to Atlantic City. Again, there's the boardwalk. There's the area that's controlled. That's a casino, I believe, that's controlled by the Mafia. And then there's the city center that is controlled by the... I can't remember what the name of the faction is. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this month. It's the 11th today, and I won't really be able to start on this video till tomorrow. But again, I'm going to have to do a surveil video for each location, which will mean 5 separate visits to each location, looting everything that's there so that I can get a proper loot count. But the nice thing about doing these 3 surveil videos is they do an excellent job of basically prep work for the main lore video, because it's forcing me to cover every square inch of the location 5 times over to find any notes, terminal entries, holotapes, things like that. So, okay. This guy better be able to get there. Alright, let's see. Yes. Okay. Yes, Casino Quarter, Flooded City Center. That's the current expedition this guy was on, and the boardwalk. Okay, let's see. So the boardwalk was the first location I ever went to, I believe. Let's just travel to the district. Showman's Pier. This is an interesting one. The Aquarium of the Atlantic, where part of the area is literally under the ocean. I will definitely say that I was not looking forward to Atlantic City as much as I was some other content in this game. Just because, in the same way that I wasn't really looking forward to Nuka World in Fallout 4 and stuff like that. Because like I'm looking for areas that are going to be more lore-rich with like corrupt government organizations and stuff like that. Which obviously Atlantic City, we're talking about corrupt government organizations. Just, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the stereotype. But at the end of the day, I'm talking more about federal government corruption. I'm talking more about enclave activities, military-industrial complex conspiracies and things like that. So, yeah, and that's the other thing too, is I definitely have not... I've done way more in the pit than I have done in Atlantic City, so I'm definitely looking forward to properly getting this place fully explored and sharing everything that I find here. Now, somebody in the first time I was here actually shared this weird little thing that pops up.
Do I just kill a guy when the mob shows up?
Let's see here.
Recruit? Heard some gunshots earlier. Sounded like they were coming from the edge of the city. Think we should be worried?
Yeah, I feel like it's something related to that clown right there. I feel like you have to like shoot the portrait or something. Is it always foggy? I think it is always foggy, but it's also sometimes you can be here during the daytime, in which case it is definitely still a little bit easier to see things. But yeah, we're on the Atlantic coast here, and if you try to go into the seawater, it really wants to kill you. The apparently the water of the Atlantic, at least right next to Atlantic City, is incredibly radioactive.
Down to the pier and catch a show.
Let's see here. This character is again protected because it's a Fallout world, and I think I'm also probably wearing the Chinese stealth armor right now. Yeah, so that is extremely protective. Let's take that off. Yeah, okay, there you go. 123 rads per second. That is going to kill you pretty quick. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of that. I've been playing Fallout 4 so much I was looking for Radaway within aid, or within food and drink, but I forgot that in Fallout 76 they separated food and drink and aid into two separate categories. Ah, hell. I keep forgetting that there's all these, they changed the locations of the perks. And no. And so basically they moved the ability to not have your mutations go away from luck to endurance, I think. Let's see, is it in here? Yeah, starch genes. So I just lost a mutation.
So this city's run by a circus.
One that's partially beneficial, partially harmful. There are more. Okay, this has got to be something about traveling here rather than doing an expedition. I do not remember there being anywhere near this many civilians hanging out around the pier. Like, I definitely, this area is.
Catch a show. You have to try the cocktails.
We got a
at
busker.
Canteen.
I love your vacation wear.
There are usually, it's like a battle royale sort of situation, fighting your way to the aquarium. So I'm definitely going to have to visit these sites both just in visiting the districts and in doing the expeditions themselves, because it's a severely different experience in these locations. Now, one thing that came to mind was I drew extensive maps of the pit. But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that in 3 weeks for all 3 locations here in Atlantic City. Because the areas here are, there's 3 of them, first of all. Well, there's only 2 in the pit, and it's extremely extensive in terms of the size of the areas by comparison to the pit. Man, multiple buskers. Interesting. Got a crashed cruise ship there, or an oil tanker. This is probably the same model that they grabbed from the Norwegian Star, I think it's what it's called. I can't remember what the ship is, but that ship where you can find those Norwegian... ooh, look at that. Ghouls. Let's just... I'm wearing the radiation-proof armor now. Well, not proof, but... Let's see what... yeah, now it's ticking up. So this area would probably normally be killing me, so... But yeah, this is the Aquarium of the Atlantic right here. So, again, this is the first of the 3 locations that I'll need to cover. Let's, can I just go back to the map and go R? Okay. Let's go to the Casino Quarter and do travel the district. In this one, the government's coming in and trying to collect taxes on the casino workers here. And they're not accepting that. The city government maintains the power supply for the city and other basic services.
That name will be the death of me.
Yeah, I really like what they did with this part of Atlantic City. You got actual green trees, you got some ivy, and you've got just the ruined city around you. It's basically the closest thing we've got to Boston in Fallout 76 in terms of urban density. Teddy, I did shoot the monster. It was a couple of rats that I killed.
Intruder, identify yourself.
Let's see. So yeah, in this area again, you got the casino.
Citizens, you may now resume
Quintino's.
your normal activities.
What the hell was that?
All right. Mobster. Oh, shoot the mobster. Okay.
Mayor Tim fancies himself the
Again,
leader.
this is so different from the expedition.
You know if it's happy hour?
Place in AC. Why those Munies want to stay in their gross little hovels beyond me?
So, this
Yeah.
city's run by a
No, I think you're right.
circus,
And honestly, I would
Godfather,
not be even
and a
slightly
bunch of
surprised
other
if they made
crazy
Fallout 5 in New York City. They got 3 in DC, they got 4 in Boston. If they put 5 in the center of them, they could include elements from both of the stories. Now then, let's see. The last section of the city is the flooded city center.
One of these days, they'll see you're the best.
So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be mapping these things, as I was saying before, though, just because just how extensive the areas are. If you want to see my my pit maps, I probably should find. I need to link those at some point here at the end of the video. And I say that occasionally that I'll link them, and I keep forgetting to. If you check out my Factions of the Pit video, I think I've got them linked there, and I definitely have them linked on the actual individual Surveil videos. So yeah, this part of the city, we got some more buildings, obviously, but they're kind of collapsed a little bit more than they were in the area with the casino. But we can go along this way, and we can go down here. And we got these creatures from the Black Lagoon. And flying jellyfish. Alright, here we go. This is what we were looking for. City Hall! This is the main draw for this part of the city. Oh. And these things, I'm not exactly sure how to categorize them, because... Oh! Acorn Electron, I didn't see you there. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good week. I actually turned 35 this week, so... It's, I don't know. I'm one of those people that's of the opinion that basically once you start a new decade of your life, that each year from then on doesn't really feel all that different from the one previous to it. Let's see here. All right.
Imagine if all the cabs that go toward Devil's Blood went toward running the city.
You
See how
auditioning
we've
to be
got
one of the showman's clowns?
auditors,
Do just look like that.
municipal workers, civilians,
Munis
and you
really
can see
have
that there is
anything
definitely a different flavor to the way people dress here in Atlantic City compared to Appalachia. Like, she's got this dress with all this kind of frilly stuff down here. Oh,
Show last
happy birthday to you.
so barbaric.
Let's see.
What's that look for? You trying to
Right through the metal detector, heavily
Anything
armed.
else? Driving. Seen one too many Jersey
Buttercup
flowers.
is a different breed. Trust me. I once saw him do someone's job.
Yeah, again, you got the actual municipal government here
The
of
city is
Atlantic
already
City.
on fire as it is. Have you been outside?
I think this is the head of the city right here. Yeah, Mayor Tim.
How's Atlantic City treating you?
You gonna stick around a while longer?
Nice place you got here.
We just make the best of what we got. You should have seen this place in its heyday. It was a real architectural feat. There was time to stop and admire the beauty of the city. Then the world ended, and we were overrun by monsters, and had our bellies and hearts stripped of sustenance. Now this building's just a reminder of all our crushed dreams.
Well, and keep in mind that, I mean, the government in, yeah, it would be incredibly time consuming to actually map this place. I'm not sure that, that I'd be able to properly get that done in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, it's not, he's formerly a farmer, so he's moved into Atlantic City to basically take over because the previous government, to an extent, did fail. And it's kind of actually the same thing with Charleston, where the state government wasn't really able to control the situation, and so the responders formed a city government in effect. You basically had, their names are slipping my mind at the moment.
What day is it again?
But the folks that were actually
never mind. It doesn't
sorry, I'm
matter.
remembering Minority Whip, or no, Majority Whip, Tanner Holbrook. That's who it was. But he lost out control to House Speaker. What was her name? I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, Tanner Holbrook was incredibly corrupt, as was the governor. We've not seen the governor actually come back yet to Appalachia. In fact, he hasn't really been mentioned. It feels like a storyline that kind of got dropped in the same way that we don't have the presidential race event. They kind of seem to have forgotten a few of the little things that they teased early on. I mean, they still have that presidential room within the White Spring Resort that you can't visit. Even though you can get into it by basically clipping through the walls, and you can see like the presidential power armor in there and stuff like that. So
New AC.
Interesting use of dusters. Oh, wow. Now that is a suit.
Beat it! I'm not your tour guide.
Oh, man. Seriously, though, outfits here in Atlantic City are impressive.
Have you been down to the aquarium?
Okay, yeah.
We always need extra
Thank you,
hands.
Civil Adam Fall.
City Hall. Consider joining up.
Appreciate it. So yeah, again, I took basically yesterday and today off, and I've been working on the Covenant video nonstop throughout that time. Well, spent a little time playing Helldivers 2 with my brother last night. But other than that, I got the audio recorded yesterday, got it edited, and the video was nearly put together in 5 hours today. With some, because I had actually recorded an enormous amount of footage over the past 2 weeks. Okay, you changed your name. Yeah, I like seeing people chatting. Used to be, I don't know what to put something. I can't remember what it was before. But yeah, so like I was saying before, with the month of April, it was going to either be 2 videos on Fallout 76 or 1 video on Fallout 76 covering Atlantic City, along with the 3 Surveil videos, and so that's the path we're going.
I wish I knew Tim's secret.
Okay. Wait, what? Okay. All right. I don't know what to put. 803, that's what it was. Oops. And so, yeah, this is what I'm going to be covering this month. So
Did you hear about what
I'm going to end up doing is for the month of May, I'm going to be covering Starfield. And so I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to put the poll up for that, because at the end of the day, I really do want to actually start covering the, what's it called, Freestar Collective major cities. So we're talking, in this case, Neon and Aquila City. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I do want to put up a vote, but it's also, I'm so dedicated to actually like covering those that it's one of those things where it's like, I want you all to choose those ones. Yeah. Hey, David Eduardo, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. And so, yeah, and then again in June, we're going to be doing basically viewer choice in terms of the videos. So currently the suggestion I got last week was Governments of the Wastes, which again, if I do that, it'll probably be on a game-by-game basis. And basically just doing a general overview of the different governments. So for like Fallout 3, I'd be talking about Rivet City. Of course, including the Republic of Dave, which is kind of ridiculous. I've had people also suggest militaries of the wastes, or like what happened to the U.S. military, I think is what it was. And so I will definitely put a poll together for that when the time comes. But at the moment, I'm actually just going to put up a poll for Starfield. That's probably not going to come up till tomorrow, though. Just because, again, for the next hour or so after I finish the stream, I'm going to have to be finishing that video, the Covenant video, because I want to get that one out to y'all tonight. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. It's like, for me, it's just after 5 o'clock, but I know that some of y'all are watching from Britain. Sometimes there's people watching from Germany. Sometimes people watching from Italy. And it's definitely significantly later there. Yeah, what happened to the rest of the U.S.? I mean, of course, it's difficult to tell. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of have to grab individual little chunks of lore and like individual sentences that people will have. Like, let's go find them real quick. I'll go back to my home base. I'm assuming this character has that character. We'll find out soon enough. Because the truth of the matter is that outside of areas that we've visited directly, we don't have like large-scale amounts of lore about other areas. The only thing we get is really from people coming in from the rest of the country. Yeah, exactly. And so, let's see. This is the camp that I've set up here to film the location of all these new sites that they added to the game with the ghoul video, or the ghoul content, I mean. Let's see here. Scene where Fallout games state that private state militias or state defense force either survives. And yeah. Well, let's see here. If I've got the character here on this one. Did I miss them here somewhere? Dwellers. Here we go. Solomon Hardy, which I always find myself slipping into the Solomon Grundy rhyme whenever I talk about Solomon Hardy. Oop. All right. Solomon Hardy is a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. Formerly, he was, I think, a member of the Army. Let's talk to him. And before that, he lived in Detroit, I believe.
Enjoying the solitude out here keeps me balanced.
So, let's see. I want to know more about you.
Want to get personal? That's fine. That's fine. I'm not paying rent, after all. Okay. Couldn't hurt to answer a few questions. Ask away.
There we go. Where are you from?
My family goes back generations in Detroit, but my path has led me all over. I can thank the Army for that one. When the bombs hit, I was about a year from getting my MD at a university well away from home. I traveled all around after that, before bumping into Paladin Romani's group, that is.
So yeah, Paladin Romani was leading the expedition across the country, and that's when they met Solomon Hardy. Wait, getting your MD, so you're not actually a doctor?
Well, if you're asking if I was able to get a piece of paper and a title before the world turned sideways, nuh-uh. Time wasn't on my side there. But the world has changed a lot since then, and you could fill a library with the sort of nonsense ailments that our wonderful wasteland can produce. So am I a doctor? No. But am I a doctor? You better believe it.
There we go. Let's see. Let's see. You said you used to be in the Army.
Truth is, I come from a long, long line of doctors. But growing up, it never stuck. Lost interest in school. Couldn't make the grades. The Army felt like a place I could make a difference. So I enlisted right out of high school.
Well, and so again, this isn't really giving us a lot on Detroit, though. I mean, that's the thing is, like, I could say, we've got a character from Detroit. But again, that's not really giving us any real information on Detroit, Michigan, or anything going on in... Oop, forgot about this little error here. In Ontario. Oop. Although we do know that there's potentially some sort of post-apocalyptic settlement in Ontario. Yep. I never was... I've talked about this a little bit before. I've never been part of the military. I did apply for the Naval Academy and got a congressional recommendation, but never got in there. My brother, though, did go to the Naval Academy after being enlisted in the Navy. Let's see here. Alright, so what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover before... Yeah, news update. Detroit exists. Or existed. I honestly would love to know a little bit more about the state of Detroit in the Fallout universe, if it was anything like it is in our world, because you got to keep in mind that the Pittsburgh in the Fallout universe was not in the Rust Belt like it is in our world, right? So you have to assume that Detroit probably is in a similar situation. Yeah, appreciate that, Acorn Electron. Have to leave stories to uncover in Fallout 34 in 80 years, exactly. But yeah, I mean, we get little bits of stuff here and there, and there's even these things where, like, I've speculated on certain locations before in some videos. Like, in the case of the video I did on the Transcontinental Expedition, where they found those Hellstorm missile launchers, and I was looking at the map, and I basically brought up... I'm probably on a government list somewhere because of the number of things that I've searched, like government installations and stuff like that, and basically nuclear waste and all this kind of things. Anyway, though, I looked up government installations that I could potentially find that would be a good source for things like the Hellstorm missile launchers, and I found the Rock Island Arsenal in Iowa. And I was just like, okay, well, that is something that looks like it could be on their route because it's not that far from Lincoln, Nebraska. And so it entirely makes sense that, yeah, we'll still be on Fallout 12 in 80 years. I mean, at the end of the day, let's think about this. Fallout 4, 2015, Fallout 76, not a mainline game, but got that in 2018. But if we go with a normal operating schedule of, let's see, Oblivion 2006, Fallout 3 2008, Skyrim 2011, Fallout 4 2015, and then we finally just got Starfield in, what was that, 2023? So there was a 8-year gap there between Fallout 4 and the next mainline game. So it could well be that we don't get Elder Scrolls 6 until, I don't know, 2028? I don't know. We'll see. I was expecting some sort of news on the Oblivion remaster by now. But, yeah, I would be surprised if by, what would that be, 2105, if we actually had... First of all, I don't think that most of us will be around by then, unless my predictions on medical science go through, which is, if you haven't heard them before, it's that within our lifetimes, we'll be able to effectively choose our age based on our genetics, on using gene therapy and stuff like that. But if that does not work out, then most of us will likely be dead by then. But yeah, I sincerely doubt that Bethesda will still be around by then, or at the very least, if they are, that they'll still be making Fallout games. I can't even imagine what video games are going to be like in 80 years. That's the thing. I mean, because it's one of those things where they didn't exist 80 years ago. It's a question of what are they going to be like in 80 years if they are still around. Something entirely different, I would assume. Burned by the... Yeah, I've seen that, and I saw a bunch of people posting about the ESO stream or some big ESO announcement yesterday, I think it was supposed to be. And so I was expecting maybe there'd be some sort of announcement about Oblivion's remaster there, but nothing came from that, so we'll see. And it's one of those things where you can't really trust any sort of information on that game until it comes out or, you know, doesn't. So, we'll see. Anyway, though. Okay, so, again, to really quickly recover upcoming content, in later this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, AI will absolutely have a massive impact on game design. I'll say something on that real quick, because it's something that I've come up with in my head a while back, which is basically that I think that you will be able to use AI. I don't like the idea of AI-created games entirely, which is to say, like, I don't like the idea of someone going to an AI, having them build them a custom game for them, because at the end of the day, it's going to happen with TV shows and movies and stuff like that eventually, and we're going to lose the entirety of a cultural zeitgeist if everybody has their own entertainment that is specifically made for them, that is, you know, 100% what they're going to be wanting to see. Now, I'm sure that you could have it create something that you would love, but at the end of the day, it's like, if we don't have anything that we talk about with each other, then we really lose something as a culture. And so, I don't like the idea of basically the same thing with AIs creating video games for individuals, but I do like the idea of being able to use an AI to flesh out a video game. And that's not even to say, like, I want people like Bethesda to just, like, throw off 50% of its developers and replace them with AI. What I'm saying is that I'd like it if they would be able to take a game like Starfield, which they fully built out as it is, and then they use an AI to effectively generate a more dense world around that. So, for example, you take New Atlantis, and it exists as it does, but then they basically take the world as it was built and designed by Bethesda, and they end up fleshing out the area around it. For example, adding things like putting in industrial districts and agricultural districts and the remains of the past where New Atlantis was a refugee center for all of humanity, and also being able to do things on Earth to where it's like we don't have to have Earth as just a single massive desert. Instead, we can find the ruins of cities where there should be cities and stuff like that. But it's also one of those things where Bethesda wouldn't have to devote literally like an extra decade to the game in order to put these inconsequential sites together, but that still actually really build out the world as a whole and make it so that the world feels more lived in and real and everything like that. So, let's see. Yeah. No, I will definitely say that I've definitely gotten some good use out of AI, just in terms of like having it be kind of a partner in a conversation. One of those things where it's like if I'm wanting to talk about a sci-fi concept or something like that, and it's one of those things where it's like my wife is not the person to talk to about sci-fi concepts. We have a lot of stuff that we both love and love to laugh about and watch movies and television shows and stuff, but she's definitely not the person I go to if it's like, well, what if they built a fishery on Europa, you know? Because first of all, like, I'm not sure that she knows that Europa is a moon of Jupiter, nor that it has a subsurface liquid ocean, nor what terms of in terms of like what life might be possible there. So it's like AI is a great thing for that. Where if it's like if I'm not in a situation where I can have a conversation with another real person that is able to talk, I am not AI, no, that can have a conversation about that kind of thing. It is fun to talk about that sort of thing with AI. So anyway, though, okay, again, back to upcoming content. So again, tonight, Covenant video. Then over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be working on 3 Surveil videos covering Atlantic City, and then the video covering the factions of Atlantic City. Those are the 3 factions there. And then again, in May, we're going to be doing videos on Starfield. I'm going to put together a poll that I'm going to put on the Discord tomorrow and on the Patreon tomorrow as well. So if y'all want to go vote on that stuff, then we will figure that thing out. Pink Copilot said that on Wednesday there are 470 days until Christmas 2025. Well, that's also Bing's AI. I'll just say that. There are different qualities of AI out there. So, okay, and then again in June, I'm going to be doing the basically viewers' choice videos. Currently talking about what happened to the military post-apocalypse. What happened to, or like, what are the governments of the wastes? So if you have other concepts that you would like to see covered that are not specific to an individual game, go ahead and start thinking about those, put those suggestions out, and I can look at creating videos like that in June. And then again, in July, the cycle starts over again, and I'll start covering Fallout 3 topics again. So I've been enjoying this this new version of things that I've set up to where I'm covering a different game every month. Now again, it has not worked perfectly because in March I really overdid it with February I overdid it covering Fallout New Vegas and did 3 videos instead of 2. And then that bled into March to where I am now in April finishing up last month's videos, and I want to kind of have that stop this month. So I'm going to try to get that Fallout 76 video and its Surveil videos out this month. So anyway, though, I think I'm going to, again, end things a little bit early because I want to go back in there and get that video done and out to you all as quickly as possible. So if you all have any final comments here, we'll end things here in the next few minutes. But if you have any more comments or questions or anything like that, I'll go ahead and answer those, or we can talk about them a little more. Have a great weekend, Patty. And yeah, I've actually been surprised though. I was talking to ChatGPT the other day, and it had a typo where I spelled out no, K-N-O-W instead of N-O, and it basically noticed it but just kind of skipped over it and was like, oh, he meant no, not no. What happened to the first responders post-war? I feel like we've got a little bit of that in the responders video. Obviously it doesn't cover all the first responders, and there's a little bit of that kind of stuff that you can find here and there throughout things like Fallout 3 But I'm thinking, I can't remember if I'm thinking of actual first responders or if I'm thinking just National Guard. Because if we're talking about like Germantown in the Capital Wasteland, that's obviously where the National Guard was trying to hold things together for a little while after the war. But I'm sure that there would have been first responders there as well. And then in Fallout 4, in the Mass Bay Medical Center, the situation there held for a short period of time after the war. The military came in and set up triage, and then everything ended up collapsing. So, I mean, there's a little bit of that stuff here and there. But again, in terms of actual like first responders, if in this case we're talking cops, paramedics, stuff like that, firemen, really, I feel like we've got the most dense lore that we've gotten on that has been in Fallout 76 and has been specific to the Responders organization itself. I could potentially cover that in the other games as well, but it would definitely be a fairly short video. But I'll put that down here. So, what happened to the first responders post-war? Okay, got that. See you, Night Spirit. Hope you had had a good week. Have a good weekend. Sorry, I just saw that one there. And yeah, anyone have any more comments or questions? If not, then I will go ahead and oh, one more thing I wanted to say because I just remembered it. Mayor's Shelter in Fallout 4. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could see that. I've said it in the past that I wasn't sure whether or not all the trees in Boston were dead in Fallout 4, simply because of the time of the year. It's in October that you're playing Fallout 4, when the game starts at least. But at the end of the day, the thing to consider is that the bombs fell in October, and if you compare Sanctuary Hills pre-war to post-war, it's clearly the case the trees are all dead. Because the trees in Sanctuary Hills look, I mean, it's not perfect, but they look a lot like that, to where there's actual leaves on them. So yes, in Fallout 4, just as in Fallout 3, a majority of the trees in the world are dead. I mean, you see some living ones, I think, in the Institute. I can't remember if that's the case or not. But yeah. I absolutely 100% would love to see seasons in a game, and I really thought that Fallout 76 would have been the perfect place to do that. Smash the subscribe button. It's something I've been asked to say here. But yeah, this would have been the perfect game to add seasons. And I've talked about this a little bit before because it really disappointed me the way they went with the Atlas Observatory. This is a weather machine. The fact that we didn't get the opportunity to use this to create seasons in Appalachia is very disappointing. Like, when we finally learned that they used the technology down here in Vault 63, or, yes, 63 I believe, yes, I was both happy to actually see that they followed up on that previously uncompleted thread, but it was so disappointing because, again, this was the first, when I first started playing the beta, back in October, November, I can't remember, of 2018, this was the first thing I headed to on the map. I saw this thing, I thought, I gotta get to this thing. I get to this thing and I discover that it's a government project to create a weather machine that worked. And in the aftermath of the war, the fact that nothing happened with this place other than it becoming a Brotherhood of Steel outpost, but they just ignored the machinery there, it just drove me crazy. It is one of the biggest disappointments for me with Fallout 76, and the fact that we could have used that to make seasons and we did not is very disappointing to me. I'm hoping that at some point in the future, yes, that there will be a Fallout game with actual proper seasons again. So, anyway though, with that rant done, I think I'm going to call things quits here, and again I'm going to go right back into Adobe Premiere Pro and finish that video. I will have the Covenant video out to you all as quickly as possible. Both because I want to get that thing out to y'all and because I'm hungry and I'm not going to eat until I finish this video. So I will finish that, then have dinner, and then I will probably spend a little bit of time relaxing this evening. But tomorrow morning the work begins on the Fallout 76 lore video covering Atlantic City, and the 3 surveil videos covering the 3 different districts of the city. I hope you all had a great week. It was good to talk to you all, and I will see you all next Friday.